Okay, now that we saw the Griff Oberwald catch it, we'll move on to the next.
Sure is amazing, Jim. Regarding actions, such as passing, handoffs, and blitz moves, these actions can only be performed by one player per turn. However, it can be any player that attempts these actions. So don't worry about the names of the player positions. They just help illustrate that blitzers are just better at blitzing, throwers are just better at passing the ball, and catchers are just better at catching the ball. Now back to the action on the pitch. The Reavers are trying to punch a hole in the Gouged Eye's defense. Look at that, Jim. Zug, their ogre, prepares to smash the Gouged Eye's black orc on the scrimmage line. Rip Sorpain.
They better stay clear of that big guy, Bob. He has a strength value of 5, and in this case, he is blocking the black orc, Rip Sorpain, who only has a strength of 4. Since the ogre has more strength than his opponent, it means he can roll 2 block dice and choose which one to use. For you folks at home, you can check the player's strengths roll table for further information concerning what effects a player's strength have when blocking.
Okay, so you select over it, double click on the ogre, and select the dice roll that is most beneficial. And I'm going to push him back there. And I do want him to follow up.
And look at that, Jim. He rolls defender down, and the defender stumbles. He uses the defender down result to push Rip Sorpain back a square and knock him flat on his back in the mud. And whenever a player hits the ground, you make an armor roll to see if his armor protects him from injury.
Lucky for that black orc, he's got some heavy armor on him, Bob. Oh, wait. It looks like Zug managed to break the black orc's armor and has caused a knockout result on the injury roll. That's because Zug has the extremely powerful Mighty Blow skill, which adds +1 to your armor roll. The Reavers fans go wild. After all, it's called Blood Bowl.
And just to let you know, a knockout is one of many rolls. There's stunned, there's knocked out. Knocked out will knock you out for the half, and you get the roll to come back in the next half, but you'll be fine the next game. And then there's actual injury, which could put you out multiple weeks, or death.
And brutality on the pitch? We like that, Jim. Seems like the Reavers smashed up an opening, too. Look at Jean-Paul Musen. The Reavers catcher is running right through their defense. I smell a touchdown soon, Jim.
Not so fast, Bob. He still needs to make a dodge roll to bypass the Gouged Eye's solid defense.
That's right, Jim. And while he squeezes through the defense, he rolls a 3 and successfully dodges through, since he needs to roll a 3 or more. With an agility value of 3, he requires a roll of 4 or more to be successful. But since Jean-Paul Musen dodges through a square that has no tackle zones, he receives a +1 bonus dodge modifier when attempting the dodge roll. Remember, it's always the square that you are dodging to that determines the modifiers. That's some nice dodging, Jim.
Too right, but look, it looks like Griff Oberwald will dodge through and make a go for it to hand off the ball to Jean-Paul Musen. And just like every action in Blood Bowl, a go for it can be treacherous, Bob.
That's all true, Jim. While all players can go for it 2 additional squares of movement, they need to roll a d6 to see if they can make it. On a 1, they will fall flat on the ground in the square where they failed, and therefore must make an armor roll, and it will cause a team turnover.
Some high-quality play there, Bob. Griff Oberwald dodges through and goes for it to the catcher, and Jean-Paul Musen successfully catches the handoff. Now, a handoff is always considered as an accurate pass, so the receiving player simply needs to pass an agility roll. Our catcher, with an agility of 3, therefore catches the ball on a roll of 3 or more.
That's all nice, Jim, but I want to see more action on the pitch. And here we go. It looks like the human blitzer, Matthias Meyer, is getting ready to blitz that orc, while Griff Oberwald is assisting him.
That's right, Bob. Once per turn, a player on the moving team is allowed to make a special blitz move. A blitz allows the player to move and make a block. The block may be made at any point during the move, but costs 1 square of movement for the player to make.
That's one tough blitzer, Jim. Since Griff Oberwald assisted him, he had +1 strength, giving him a strength value of 4. So he gets to roll 2 block dice and choose the result. Fortunately, he has rolled both down twice. But fortunately, Matthias Meyer has the block skill, which allows him to ignore the both down result. But since poor old Truck Elf Splitter does not have the block skill, he goes down. What a blitz he made, Jim.
Indeed, Bob. The player may carry on moving after the effects of the block have been worked out, if he has any squares of movement left. It seems like he is moving up next to the catcher to protect him.
But look, Jim, what is Peter Von Gullet trying to do? It looks like he'll fall over and cause a turnover. Normally, turn only ends when all the players in the team have performed an action. However, certain events cause the turn to end before all the players have taken an action.
And because I failed the roll, I automatically get the choice of using one of my team rerolls. And I failed.
Turnover! Not even the team reroll helped them there, Bob. This doesn't look good for the Reavers, since Jean-Paul Moussin is wide open for a blitz. The Orcs don't waste any time, and there goes Krug Painspear, the gouged eyes star, Orc blitzer. He just blitzed up the pitch, and now he's going to throw a block at Jean-Paul Moussin, the Reavers catcher. Krug Painspear got a strength of 3 compared to Jean-Paul's 2, which means Krug Painspear can roll 2 block dice and choose which one he will use.
Did you see that, Jim? Since Krug Painspear has the tackle skill, Jean-Paul Moussin is knocked down with a defender stumbles, even though he has the dodge skill, which would normally allow him to regard that as a simple pushback. What a blitz! That looks like a spleen gone awry. Brutal and bloody just the way we like it. And the gouged eye fans go wild. It looks like the Reavers will have to use their Apothecary to stitch up that wound. And there they come, running onto the pitch, carrying out the lifeless body.
You'll notice that the announcers are actually out of sequence with the video, so they're just a little bit ahead, one scene ahead. I will want to use my Apothecary because he's dead outright.
That's assuming the Apothecary can mend him, Bob. The Apothecary allows a reroll of any injury. Bob, I'm not so sure about that. He might be a good thrower when it comes to throwing it downfield, but it looks like Cannonball Benny is about to attempt a risky pass to Varag Gaulchua, and Griff Oberwald is in a great position to make an interception attempt.
And the reason why you'd want to try to save your players is you do not get free replacements. You actually earn gold for wins that you do during the matches, and you have to use that to either buy better players, buy equipment, buy replacement players. So actually you can end up with half the size of the team by the end of the season if you do poorly. So you never want to lose a guy. So Apothecaries work really well for trying to keep your men in action. And I get to select which one of my guys gets to intercept.
That's right, Jim. The crowd holds its breath as Griff leaps to intercept the pass. He needs an agility roll of 3 or more. However, a player making an interception attempt suffers a -2 modifier, which means that Griff will need a score of 5 or 6 to catch the ball. The dice is rolled and comes up with a 6. Griff catches the ball. It's an interception! And just listen to those Reavers fans, Jim. They're going wild! That's a turnover for the gouged eye.
Now, the one thing I don't know if you noticed is when he caught it, there was a +2 SPP that appeared above him. He did something successfully. He got 2 star player points to add to his total, which he has a lot of them anyways. He's yeah. Okay, so we'll continue.
And there goes Griff Oberwald, sprinting down the field to score Reichland Reavers' first touchdown. And listen to those fans, Bob, howling like banshees and rabid wolves.
What a touchdown, Jim! Did you see that? Amazing! But the game is far from over. This is just warming up. 6 turns remain of the first half, and then we got a full second half with 8 more turns before this game is over.
Okay guys, we'll call it there. That's where it'll wrap up for the tutorial. If you need any more information, I'll supply the rules in a link down below.